How's it going, Laser Bruises? Up, Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to the letter. Now it's us and Isabella versus the world, apparently. We've kicked shit out of Isabella stun-gunned the terrifying fucking butler man who's probably going to cannibalize us before he throws the rest into the garden. But we still haven't found anything that relates to breaking the curse. So we'll continue with that, shall we? I don't know if Marianne's still here either, but I'm assuming not, seeing Isabella had the stun gun. She pauses abruptly right in the doorway that I almost run into her. A look of confusion in her as she looks wildly around the place, wordlessly taken in her surroundings. With each turn and shift of her eyes, her shoulder only grows tenser, and a look of apprehension slowly dawns on her.
Isabella, what are you...
We aren't supposed to be here.
Sure enough, when I look up, we're standing right in the kitchen. Pots, pans and all. In one corner, Rebecca watches, almost as surprised to see us. McCullough's also with her, of course. She didn't listen to me, even if I've already exceeded the 15 minutes we've already agreed on. Although colour and strength seems to have already returned to her, enough for her to be able to stand unassisted. The empty plate on the counter appears to have played a part in that. Good news, I guess. As for the other one, however, relieved as I am that she has the sense to wait and not venture deeper into the mansion, I can't keep but roll my eyes at her, although she preempts me with a reprimand of her own.
Did you really think you could hide this from us?
I had to, Becca.
You know, if Isabella hadn't asked G and that old guy didn't slip, none of us would even have any idea.
So the first thing the two of you did is go straight here?
Of course not, but Isabella insisted.
And it didn't even occur to you to stop her?
I tried, all right. She was out the door before I could say anything.
And how did you guys
Sounds
even
about
get
right.
in here?
Both of them exchange a look. One of them I absolutely don't like. In the end, it's Isabella who speaks up, albeit with a bit of hesitation.
We heard someone scream, Ash. It led us here.
Without warning, the door behind us slams shut.
We need to get out of here.
Screw right. I need to get these people out of here. Lucky we're in the kitchen, we have two ways out, the back door and the cellar office. Except the hatch won't budge. When I pull at it, neither does the back door, as if something has locked it firmly on the other side. Rebecca also gives it a few tries, but even with help from Isabella, it won't open. There's a long bout of silence in which we all simply look at each other, likely sharing the same thoughts. We're trapped. Something or someone has intentionally led us here. Fuck. In that same moment, once realization dawns in, something shifts again. Blood. In every nook and cranny, over every surface and in every inch of the floor. This time, unlike the first one I've seen, it remains, and gradually the whole room begins to reek of that familiar metallic scent. Sharp, suffocating. Around us, every object, including the cupboards, have started to rattle as well. The sounds from outside, foreboding rumble of thunder, and even the howling winds have begun to fade away, replaced by whispers, shouts, and cries of pain. Though inaudible, each beat and note bombards every crevice in my head with vague images and sounds. There's no time to make sense of everything, however. I'm already shouting, fueled purely by adrenaline, barking orders and making a break for the door that leads to the next room, the dining. It should take us straight to the foyer, where the main door is.
Move! Run!
Right in front of us, the mansion has started to change, and we're in the thick of it. However, instead of the dining room like it's supposed to open to, the bedroom welcomes us instead. Cool. So it's doing the shit, what's the game called? The fear one? I can't remember now. You know the one where everything... It's one of the first games we ever covered on this channel, ever. Like back in 2016. Layers of Fear. Layers of Fear. Where everything keeps... You turn around and everything's different. And you turn around again and everything's different again. The bedroom welcomes us instead. An image that lasts only but a second before the blood begins to seep into the room. Filtering into the walls, trickling from every nook and cranny, everywhere. Furniture shakes and every beam rattles. Before we can even step back from the horror gradually unfolding in front of us, the door slams shut. A loud thud bringing a sense of dread and chill creeping up on each of us. Along with it is another realization. The whole place is reordering itself. And with the door closed tight behind us, showing no signs of budging, even through sheer force, we can jump off the balcony. There's no choice but to go forward and hope to all gods it'll lead us to an exit. Until then, running's the only thing we can do, spurred by nothing but fear and a sense of desperation to live.
It's useless, Ashton Frey.
But with each room we pass, it only becomes more apparent that the house has no intention of letting us leave. It lured all of us here and we've fallen for it. Now it's playing a little game with us. A sordid form of amusement. For whom? Their laughter's the only things we can hear. With every hall we cross and door we slide open, the hope of finding an exit merely dwindles. The gun at my hip is useless here. I am useless here. Some fucking genius I am. Some fucking person to trust I am. All of those? They mean nothing in the face of the unknown.
You finally figured it out. Huh, Ashton Frey? Just give it up. I will eventually die because of you.
And you are going to die alone.
Thanks, Zach.
Shut your fucking mouth.
You know it's true, though.
All of it.
It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it.
You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
I've heard this spiel before.
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
The more gruesome this place turns, the bleaker our chances simply get. Wails and screams fill our ears as we pass by, words from a time and people long gone, laced with nothing but pure agony, calling out, reaching out to us. Their voices almost too real, as if we're not the only ones trapped here, that they are the ones begging for release from this wretched place. Or maybe it's all just a show, a taste of what we will eventually be, souls forever held captive in a never-ending nightmare.
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please. I can still hear her. She's here. Help me! Help me, please!
Is this what the curse is? What it means for all of us? That the letter, not a morbid cry for help, but an invitation. A beckoning for unsuspecting souls to be dragged into this place's horrors, to be put under centuries and centuries of torment and agony. Suddenly dying a painful death seems preferable, enticing the ending. Up here, living a tortured existence. Or perhaps it's all the same. Still, hope worms its way into me. Not a usual thing for someone like me. But after going through countless doors and corridors, every little sign of hope I'm willing to cling to, as long as it'll get us out of here. We're back in the dining room again. How long have we been running? How long since we left the kitchen? At some point I've lost track of time, with the windows barred tight and the sounds lifting in the air, nothing but shouts and shrieks. It's impossible to tell. Not that it matters when an end is in sight. Shelves and furnishings bar the door, each stained with blood and gore, that if the situation isn't as desperate as it is, I'd find a different way out. There's still a gap left in the topmost part for a person to go through, as long as you use the shelves to climb.
It's an exit, all right.
From here I can spy the familiar walls of the foyer. Relief, only relief washes over me. Although my legs have been strained taut by all that running, and every bone and muscle in my body ache, there's only an easing. A sense of tension relieving while energy backflows through me again at the sight of an end. No sooner I'm leading us out of it. Isabella helps McCullough first, assisting her up and through the gap, before giving a hand to Rebecca. The moment the ladies are in, I nod for her to go through.
Go ahead. I'll watch your back.
Surprisingly, she does that without any protests. Not that there's any need to. Sometime after entering the room, the whole place has calmed down. No wails, no whispers, just a silence too deafening. But I'm not letting my guard down until everyone's on the other side of this nightmare. Safe. For all I know, this may just be the calm before another storm. Without further incident, however, Isabella makes it to the other side, and I'm following after her. However odd this hush is, I turn my back from it and climb up. It's a tight fit, but I manage to squeeze myself in. The unease remains, though. Maybe it's the adrenaline still coursing through me, or how easy everything has been after living through that nightmare, fleeting as it is. But for some reason, something's still nagging at me. Call it a detective's instinct, or my training, or whatnot. I have a feeling something's going to happen and catch us unprepared. Unconsciously, before dropping down on the better side of this dream, my hand shifts to the gun at my hip. Instinct has never failed me before. My feet haven't even landed firmly on the floor when...
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
A chill seeps into every vein in my body. This shirt is ass. All of a sudden, Every ache, every pain returns to me tenfold, and my knees threaten to buckle at the sound of his voice. Though it appears friendly, I know it's anything but. One does not spend investigating a man like him over a year and upholding a grudge against him for more without knowing everything about him. His quirks, his habits, I'm familiar with all of them. And right now, Luke fucking Wright is beyond pissed. Shifting my gaze upwards is nearly too painful, knowing the danger. Not to me, but to those who have been lured here by the curse. The gun catches my eyes first, next to that smarmy smile on his face while he holds McCullough, Rebecca and Isabella at gunpoint. It's sight enough to lodge a painful thorn up my throat. I've been too complacent, too focused on other things that I've completely set aside the fact that the scumbag will not be too pleased to see us here without knowing our reasons. But even with those good intentions, curses and ghostly apparitions aside, we're still trespassing in his home. The question is, if he's even aware of this, that the whole of his household has somehow disappeared and he might be the only one here. Likely not. Fuck. Even with people he knows among the crowd, there's a significant effort in him not to simply shoot everyone in sight.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there, then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is? Oh, we're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please, what?
We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Tut, not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman.
Can't say the same for Feathers here, though.
But really now, I swear, people need to stop breaking into my house! This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
Casually he waves a handgun at them, as if it's a mere toy and his words are no threat. The safety's off on his. Nothing suffered from pushing through with these words. Call me paranoid, but at the slightest gesture I draw my own gun and level it at him, finger on the trigger and ready to release a safety catch in case things go south. He's quick to train his own on me though, and just like that, we're at a standstill.
Now, Feathers. Manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
Hey man, if I shoot him and he shoots me, I'd say we're well off. One less Luke Wright in the world.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall. You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Shooting him right now would be so worth it, but the way he stares at me like I'm a damn pest. This isn't what I've come here for. I'm not a murderer as much as I loathe them. I'm not the kind who will kill people in cold blood for my own gain or amusement. The law will bring him for what he deserves one of these days. It's not for your own gain. He's aiming a gun at us. Shooting him is self-defense. And you're a cop? Come on. At the moment, however, we're all in the same boat with this curse, and he needs to understand that. The longer we stand here, the more time we're wasting and losing, something we don't have much of. But how can I convince him? The scum's so full of himself, prefers to hear the sound of his own voice more than those of the people around him, no matter how much sense they make. Probably the only way I can make him listen is if I beg. No way in hell that's happening. Maybe I should eliminate the immediate danger first and disarm him. God damn it, disarming him's gonna get someone shot. I don't want to beg him, but I'll have to. My life's not the only one here at risk here, however. There's Rebecca. There's Isabella. McCullough's here as well. We're all unknown victims to this fucking curse, and I'm in no position to pick who to save and who I should simply let die. I suppose my pride can take a few hits, and I can set aside my beef with this asshole. Taking a deep breath slowly, I lower my pistol. They're still on edge, and at the ready in case he does something. I do my best to assume a less aggressive stance.
Listen, Wright, I need you to...
You broke into my house, and somehow, you expect me to listen like a good little boy. Are you a bit touched in the head, Feathers? I'm not the one breaking laws here.
Look here, fucker. If I wanted you dead, I could have done it so many times already. In fact, I can easily shoot you down right here, right now, and you won't be able to do a damn thing, even with that gun.
Suddenly he laughs, almost howling in fact, like I've just told him the best joke he's heard in all his life. The only thing missing is for him to keel over and start rolling around on the floor, all while I do my best not to sock him with the sorry end of my pistol.
You have guts, Feathers. You have guts. Did you hear what you just told me? You've just threatened me inside my own house. My own home. You know what I'm thinking right now? In another lifetime, we would have probably gotten along well.
He's right on that at least. I might have ended up liking him if I didn't have Professor Andrew, Rebecca, Zach, and Isabella. One mistake and it would have been too late for me. With his laughter rings all the possibilities I could have lived, but have never been given the choice. Well, because I have other people with me. People who care. A sobering realization. But not so much when suddenly his chuckling stops. In 2 heartbeats he marches towards me, grabs my collar and aims his gun right at my head.
Ashton! Luke, no!
At this distance, a slight flicker of that finger on the trigger will be able to do more than kill me.
What is it that you people really want with me? This is the 3rd time this week, and I'm really getting weary of this little game. Did the NCA send you to apprehend me, or has somebody paid you off to kill me? Which one is it, Feathers? Mind you, my arm's getting tired. Better answer quick if you don't want to meet the business end of this gun.
I keep my eyes trained on him in spite of the huge threat he poses right now. Because if there's anything people like him, like us, prefer, it's honesty. You don't give that impression without keeping a solid eye contact.
I'm not with NCA. I'm just here to help. There's something else in this house, and we're all in danger. You have to believe me, right? You need to let us go. You need to get out of here before it's too late. If you want to keep your sorry ass alive, you'll listen to people with more brain cells than you.
Why, you insolent!
His finger moves, but I'm prepared. My hand ready to reach up, disarm him, and knock him out. If I have to drag him out of this place unconscious to keep him from suffocating the fates of every other person who has died from this curse, so be it. However, before either of us can fire a shot or tackle the other to the ground, another voice echoes throughout the foyer. A small little thing compared to the storm raging outside. It rings above it, nevertheless, causing all of us to stop and turn. At the top of the staircase, Hannah Wright stands. To make matters worse, that thing's behind her, menacing, a rotting hand wrapped firmly around her neck. She looks like death. Pale and shaky, eyes red with tears. We nearly don't hear her as she pleads.
Luke, help me. Please.
Outside, another streak of lightning flashes and a clap of thunder ripples across the sky. As if the whole thing can't get any more foobar than it already is. Really? Now we have to be fucking Luke? But I hate him more than ever. To say I'm scared of what's happening is a gross understatement. Trouble of any sort is the last thing I want to get home to after a long day at work and a trip to the bar. And when I see Hannah near prostrate, I can only feel dread. She twitches and seizes, body wound and coiled tight before thrashing, shuddering and shaking. Like a woman possessed, her mouth fills open and her eyes roll to the back of her head. She has the hallmark signs of a seizure. The symptoms are similar enough. And that knowledge? The fact that I know this only makes me feel worse. Any anger I'd caused by our disagreement on parting ways, no matter how temporary she claimed it to be, disappeared. The alcohol-induced daze that I felt was brushed aside as I ran to help her. None of that mattered at the moment. But to hold her close is all I can do while she thrashes about. I know this is wrong, that I'm not supposed to hold her down, yet I do it out of instinct, reflex even. I'm terrified of hurting her, but I see no other way of keeping Hannah from hurting herself. It takes a lot to keep myself from running off, to get help when she needs me here. And it takes everything I have to keep myself intact. When she says my name, I realize that the seizures have stopped, but that doesn't make the dread go away.
Luke, please.
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I am so sorry.
The sight of her tear-streaked face is enough to twist the knife in. It doesn't help that I'm as lost as she is right now, and all I can say is,
Shh, it's alright. You're safe now, Hannah. You're safe now.
it takes a bit to go through the house with my inebriated self. And it's even made worse by the fact that I had to carry my nearly unconscious person as well. I was about to give up too until Shrokin shows to lighten the load. He quietly takes her from me without question and brings her up to the bedroom. And me? Well, I couldn't bring myself to follow. Not right now. Not while I'm drunk and rattled by what just transpired. It was a miracle I was able to help at all. So here I am, sulking in a parlour chair with a glass of wine in hand. I can't even remember what particular vintage it is, and I practically didn't care right now.
Because when you're already drunk and still have problems, even more alcohol should help.
Of course, the butler chooses now to appear and be unhelpful.
You know what actually solves all problems? Death. but it is not recommended. Alcohol isn't a true solution either.
It's worked well enough for me.
I'd like to believe that I get my best ideas while I'm thoroughly hammered. Not everyone might agree, but they can't really do anything about it, can they? With a fuck ton of money comes great power, sometimes responsibility, and with that responsibility comes a lot of reasons to get drunk. Of course, I can just tell responsibilities to sod off if I was feeling reckless, and Christ, I must be really drunk if I'm thinking in circles. I just need something to focus on, and I should be fine.
How is she? Is she alright?
If panic crept into my voice at the question, I don't let it show. It would be a show of weakness to be so frazzled, to show so much concern over a woman who was going to put me aside. People like him work for me. I trust with business, but not with myself, never with that. Only Hannah has come so close. Only she has truly seen the man beneath the facade. Only her actions can wound me so.
Sleeping. Aside from a few bumps and bruises, she seems to be fine. A maid is watching over her for now. It is best not to leave her alone. But, if I may ask, what happened? I was in the gardens when I heard screaming. Did you...
No, it wasn't me.
I'm quick to be on the defensive. I may be capable of a lot of horrible things, but I would never harm her of all people, no matter how angry I might become. I would never lay a hand on her to hurt her.
I didn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything like that. I don't even have a reason to.
You don't consider her wanting to be a part as reason?
It isn't. Well, it is. I don't want to talk about it right now. But what happens was I got home. She was seasoned in the kitchens. Is she ill?
Not that kind of doctor. But I've already scheduled your physician for a house call tomorrow morning. We'll still have to monitor her as soon as she wakes up and...
Oh god, things are coming back to me. I need a drink.
Really? You're still drinking?
Why, yes, it seems to be the bloody best time to be drinking. I'm allowed, aren't I? After all, I've just found my wife having a seizure, and I shouldn't give two shits about it. Not when she's about to leave me.
I think you should still probably care, even if she's going to leave you. I mean, you were married to the woman, right? That means something, right? But I do, goodness I do. A big generous gulp just makes it so that the taste of cherries, raspberries and strawberries wash over my tongue. The thing too sweet considering its deceptively earthy aroma. A Veln's Vineyard, seasoned red, isn't really something to scoff at. I've had many good memories with this particular drink. This particular bottle, in fact, was a gift. It serves the purpose Lady Blairknot had given it to me for. To forget. All the same, whether I took this bottle or a Pinot Noir, it is just a means to an end. I'll probably have to finish the whole bottle to get drunker than I already am.
But no, she doesn't need to be taken care of. If she wants her time apart, she'll have it.
It'll break my heart just to let her go, but she deserves this much, doesn't she? We both deserve this much. I'd be a hypocrite if I don't let her go. Besides, Daisy would laugh her ass off, would be filled with horrible pity if she knew. I'm not supposed to let someone else define me, and I refuse to let her go. If I refuse to let her go, I'd be forcing myself to define her.
She's had her uses.
She's done a lot for me in these 7 years we've been together. I pursued her at first for the money. It was supposed to be strictly business. There might have been a time too when I considered taking her out of the picture so that I could do with the money as I pleased. I'd planned to manipulate her, and I feel horrible thinking about it. But along the way, I had changed, if only for her. Perhaps my father would scoff, tell me I've gone soft. Maybe I have. Does it matter? God, rich people make me sick. Jesus Christ, is this how they act? All of them? Come on. Fucking hell, be a human, would you? 7 long years. It's had its ups and downs, and it certainly hasn't been a perfect marriage. We've had our fights, who hasn't? But those small moments when we could just laugh and be our happy selves were always magical. They made all these years worth it. And I've seen many more years to come. So where did I go wrong? I've loved only 2 women in my life. Mother dear, bless her soul, and Hannah, who has been my sunshine for so long. Losing her, I feel that I might become more like my father. Had Damien Wright stayed with Mother, or any other of numerous women she's had a child with, would he have been less of an embittered shell of a man? Would having a darling love in his life made him a better person? Perhaps it's a bias of me to doubt so. I don't think I can ever see the old man in a favourable light.
I'm just surprised that you're not afraid. She might be leaving with delicate information.
Oh, she might know something.
Like you've got a
But
little
if she
penis.
hasn't done anything with the knowledge for this long, I don't think she would do anything now.
She might tell everyone that you've got a tiny cock.
If she had even an inkling of what I've done, what I'm capable of, she'll know it's not a good idea. Hana's a smart woman.
Smart, kind, hardworking, generous, loyal. I can go on and wax poetic about her if I had any talent with the stuff.
Why don't you sit down and have a drink with me? Don't worry, it's not poisoned or anything.
Lonely? Oh, I suppose there's no harm.
With a shake of my head, I procure another glass and pour some of the red wine. Watching the red liquid is fascinating all its own with my muddled brain, that I barely notice sloshing some of it on my and staining my suit. It'll be an utter bugger to clean, so I'm glad it isn't my problem. Handing it over, I can't help but look up at the ceiling and let out a sigh. My eyes, damp, glaze over, though I won't let it go further than that. Raising my own glass for a toast, I clear my throat.
We drink to... Do we really need a reason to? The world is messed up. War, terrorism, famine, poverty, loved ones and love lost. The world is a cesspool. Might as well be drunk if we're going to drown in it.
A bit less eloquent than your usual speeches, but... zum Wohl.
A sip. A gulp. Refill. Rinse and repeat until the bottle of Veln is barely a fifth left. I must have drunk most of it because I barely see Shrocken take a sip after his first glass. It certainly feels that way. I don't even think I could stand up, let alone walk. I'm all legless. My mind just feels so funny and everything else is equally hilarious. Bloody hell, I think I can make out faces of a bald man on the wallpapers. With the butler also standing up, he looks like a skyscraper from where I'm seated.
Jesus Christ, I have Sasquatch as a butler.
I have a great alcohol tolerance, so this, seeing how I'm a giggling wreck right now is, I'm assuming, really bad. If there is any sober part left of me, it'll probably just shrivel up and die just thinking of the hangover that'll come in the morning. But I can't help but get distracted at the sight of the moonlight peeking through the curtains, shiny and shimmery and absolutely splendid. Even if the night brought calm, it is the moon that has always enamored me so. It is a second sun, but just as beautiful as my sunshine.
I want to go out and look at the moon. Mummy, I can't feel my legs.
I can't feel my legs.
Mutter, I am not. Don't tell me I have to carry you upstairs to bed.
I didn't even do nothing. I did my best to behave decent. Whiskey and Mint are just good friends, that's all. And that Rochelle woman's baby isn't mine. I swear, I couldn't love any other woman than Hana. Miss Pink is right. I don't know how she can even put up with me. She deserves far better than me. But Hana must be so tired. I'm a brat, aren't I? She said as such. I don't want Hana to leave me, Joe. Oh God, she's the love of my life, you know? I'm a shite human being without her. I should...
You're a shite human being either way, my friend.
Flowers. Lots and lots of flowers. All of the flowers. Enough to make the Queen's Gardens look like a fucking dumpster fire in comparison.
All well and good. But you are not achieving any of that while you are lying on the carpet.
That's where all my best ideas come to me.
Now, if you can lift your skinny ass and work with me. 1, 2, 3.
But I don't want to go to bed. The moon is so pretty tonight.
I should just let you sleep on the ground, Bratwurst.
Cool. This is going well.
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty face from day to day. Come on, Mummy, wake up. I want to be in that play. Mummy, wake up. You promised that you'd help me practice my lines today. The auditions are tomorrow, so I have to practice. The last syllables of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools. The way to Dusty. Mummy, are you...
I choke back a scream and wake up in a cold sweat. With my heart pounding in my ears, it takes a while to remember where I am. In the dark and cold of the room, one can't fault me for feeling ill at ease. It isn't as bright as the penthouse, and the renovations did little to change how old it feels. We've been here for less than a week. It'll take a bit more time to adjust. It's hard to feel cozy though when I'm bloody freezing. Nudging the lump of fabric next to me, I sigh.
It's cold. Don't hog the sheets, Hana.
She always did this though, it hardly bothers me. Growing up, I was lucky to have something to use as a mattress. I'm not the one who grew up accustomed to Egyptian cotton with a thread count of 800. Besides, the warmth that Hana exuded on her own is usually enough to keep me sleeping through the night. The temperature tonight must be something else with how chilly it is right now. I must be considerate, after all, the poor dear is ill, though I loathe to think about what had just transpired.
Don't make me pull those sheets off you. That blanket is large enough to cover an elephant. You'll need to share.
It takes a while.
What was that, honey? Apologies. I'm just in the loo, so if you can give me a moment.
There's no sign they'll be moving where they lie. With care, I go for a knife hidden under the side of my bed. It would be foolish in me to instigate anything while I'm unarmed, after all. To pull back the covers would be a more difficult affair, because reaching out to uncover who was underneath, I have to prepare for anything and assume the worst. If I so much as see the nozzle of a gun, there's going to be a murder tonight. I know they say not to bring a knife to a gunfight, but I think I can sink a blade into his liver faster than he can point an aim. I sense the rise and fall of the sheets, though it can easily be mistaken as the fold of the breeze. I hear the breathing. A great sense of foreboding comes over me, making me hesitate with my plan. I should just get Hana and myself out of here, not look back and let security handle it. That's what they're there for. Or maybe I should just man up. There's no way I'm risking the chance that inaction will put Hana in danger. But what's the worst that could happen, right? I've no reason to be afraid. There's no boogeyman under the bed, no monster in my closet. If anything, these things should be afraid of me. Right? I grab a fistful of sheets and throw them aside. Nothing. Nothing but a bunch of pillows stare back at me. Must be our imagination. I'd rather not think I'm going mad. I could very well be the stress getting to me. All this drama with Hana. I've been doing well all these years, and all things considered, I guess I do have a breaking point. But still, the world goes on even if one cannot, and I must go along with it. I suppose a day off or two tomorrow wouldn't hurt. Rest, aside from the few hours of sleep, will be welcome. More than. But I can't shake off the unease. I dare say that I feel afraid. Irrationally so. That something will come creeping and crawling from under the bed, even as I lay back down and close my eyes. And with that, we need to wrap this episode up, because we are super duper out of time for today. Now we are Luke. Fun. I mean, that's the last one on the list. And oh, that's a long one too. It's a long one, but we'll see what happens, I suppose. Ashton's one was huge too, but we'll see what happens. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.